I planted a lot of peppers this year, like a lot. And when you're working with raised beds, you can't just stick them anywhere. What you plant with them matters. I learned that the hard way one year with a crop that set my peppers back for weeks. Today I'm going to be walking you through 7 companions in 4 raised beds that I'm growing my peppers in right now. I'll also tell you which companion did not work that I'll never plant peppers with again, and I'll show you a companion I'm trying that the internet says is a bad idea, but we'll just see. Let's start with this bed. This is probably my favorite. What you're looking at here is carrots and celery growing right alongside my peppers. And the reason I love this combination comes down to 2 things: timing and growth habit. I've done this multiple times now and it works the same way every time. And here's why it works. Carrots and celery are cool weather crops, which means they go in way before peppers do. My carrot seeds go in late February or early March, about 4 to 6 weeks before my average last frost date. Now, celery here is a little bit more cold sensitive, so I start those seeds indoors and then I transplant them out about 2 weeks before my average last frost. Either way, both of these crops are in the ground and growing long before a pepper plant is planted. Now that early start matters because they need as much sun as they can get in those early weeks. Now this does take some planning on the front end because I have to leave space where I know that the peppers are going to go. In this case, I planted my celery and my carrots and my peppers about every other square. I used the Garden in Minutes garden grids, which is my irrigation system, also as plant spacing. So it made it really convenient to do 1 pepper plant per square, 1 celery plant per square, and then I plant about 16 carrots per square. Now I did end up leaving the south side here in the front all carrots, partly because I needed a little bit more carrots than I did peppers in this bed, and so I gave them full southern exposure. So for me, my carrots and my celery are planted in February to early March, but then my peppers are going to go in typically a couple of weeks after my average last frost date, once the carrots and the celery have had plenty of time to establish. Now, if you watched last week's video about some of the mistakes that I made this year, one of those was that I planted my peppers way too early indoors, and so they were ready for the garden, and I planted them out right around my average last frost date, which is actually way too early. They did not love the cool nights that we had, but thankfully they are bouncing back. So right now, as you can see, all of these crops are growing together and they will do so for about a month. And one thing I really appreciate during this stretch right now is that I barely have to weed because, as you can see, the canopy fills in this space and there's really not a whole lot of room for weeds to be able to get sunlight. And as the pepper plants start to grow taller, they start to cast some shade on the celery and the carrots. And here's the thing, that is good at this point because the days are getting longer, the temperatures are starting to climb, and shade on these cool season crops is actually quite welcome. Sunlight was essential for them at the beginning, but now it's less critical. Looking forward, by late May and into June, then I start harvesting the carrots and celery. Actually, some of the celery I could probably even start harvesting now. It's ready. But the peppers are starting to hit their stride right around the time that the carrots and the celery are harvesting, and then they take over this space. And I'm already thinking ahead to August because once the peppers have a nice full canopy going toward the end of the season, this bed becomes a perfect spot to tuck in some early fall lettuce right where the celery and the carrots had already come out. 1 bed and we essentially get 3 seasons of production. And here I think I have 4 crops potentially between now and the fall, just in this one 4x8-ish raised bed. Before I show you the next bed, if you've been thinking about setting up raised beds or upgrading your irrigation, Garden in Minutes is running a Memorial Day sale through June 1st, up to 25% off everything. That's actually better than my regular discount code, so this is a great time to shop. Just make sure you go through my link, journeywithjill.net/gardeninminutes, because my code won't stack with the sale and that link is how I get the credit. It's just one of the ways you can support this channel and I'm genuinely grateful when you do. The link to Garden in Minutes is in the description below. This bed has 3 different companions going on with these peppers right here, so let's walk through each one. The first one right here you see is garlic. And for me, garlic rivals carrots as my favorite pepper companion. I've been doing this combination for longer than any other combination, but the same reason as before, and that's timing. But this one requires even more advanced planning. That means that I have to have at least a rough idea of where I want my peppers to go months before I'm planting them. You'll notice that I planted garlic here in the middle of this bed, and I left room for peppers to be planted here on the outside. I actually did the same thing in this bed right over here. And I want to show you why the placement matters, because it's something that I learned that I actually like better than the way that I had done it before. So I used to do it the other way around. I used to put garlic on the outside, and then I would leave a space for peppers in the middle. And it worked, but I noticed that my peppers were slower to get going. The garlic, as you can see, gets really tall. This is actually not far from harvesting. That's why it looks so bleached out right now. But they get really tall, and then when the peppers are very young, this garlic can shade those peppers. But once the garlic comes out, the peppers took off. But this year I flipped it, where I've got the peppers growing on the outside, and then I've got the garlic in the middle. Now on the other side of this raised bed, you can see I've got some tomatoes here, and then I've got some peppers on this other end. But you can kind of see here that I've got this strip of garlic in the middle and then peppers on the outside. And the reason that matters is that the peppers are getting more direct sun from the very beginning, having garlic in the middle. I've already noticed a big difference. In fact, I looked over here and I already have a baby bell pepper on this one. So these are coming along a lot more quickly than usual. Now, garlic needs a full sun early in the season, just like other root crops, and planted in the middle here, it has that in the beginning before the peppers are big enough to shade anything. But then by the time the peppers go in, the garlic, as you can see, has already shifted into bulb production. And if you see garlic that looks like this, that is completely normal. It just means it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's shifting its energy into that bulb production. And because of that, it doesn't need as much sun right now the way that it did earlier in the season. Now, going back to peppers, in June, when I harvest the garlic, some garlic gets harvested a little later, but for me, most of the time it's June. Then the peppers have all of this room and pretty much all of this bed to themselves. Now, I may end up planting something else in the middle. I haven't quite decided yet, but all that to say, the peppers are going to have plenty of room, especially when this garlic comes out. Now, garlic is just one example of the companions in this bed, but the next example here is a young basil plant that you can see here, and I have it tucked over here on this other side as well. Basil is one of the easiest companions to work with because it tucks in so naturally with warm weather crops. Bell peppers especially, I like to give a little bit more room, like 24 inches apart, as in every other square here in my Garden in Minutes grid, as opposed to 12, which I like to do 12 for my smaller peppers in general. But the reason I like to give them 24 is that way they have more room when their canopy starts to expand. But that leaves a gap. So if I do every other square here, then we have a square here that doesn't have anything in it. And I like to be able to have crops in all the squares to maximize every single inch that I can. And that's where tucking basil in is a perfect choice. It fills the space, it's useful in the kitchen, and it's happy there in between the peppers. Now, the last companions in this bed are going to be flowers, and I've grouped them up together. I'm going to be doing marigolds and zinnias here. I don't have them planted yet. By the time you see this, they will be planted. But I'm going to be doing the marigolds in the zinnias in the corners. The marigolds are going to go in the south side corner up here because they stay lower growing. And I'm going to put taller zinnias here on the north side where the height is not going to shade anything out. Flowers do two things in a bed like this. Obviously, they're beautiful, but they also bring in beneficial insects. And the more diversity you have in and around your vegetables, the more life you're inviting to that entire ecosystem. So you've seen a couple of examples of the peppers here in my kitchen garden, but next I'm going to take you out to my large garden space for my next companions. This large 4x20 bed has a bit of a different story behind it. My original plan was pretty straightforward. Beets on the outside as my cool season crop, and then watermelons on the inside to take over once the beets finished harvesting. Simple enough, but then I ended up with way more pepper seedlings than I had planned for, and I needed to put them somewhere. So I turned to a companion combination that I had already trusted, and that is melons. Now, before we get to melons, let's talk about the beets, because the logic here is familiar by now. Beets are gonna go in early, just like the carrots and the celery, and then by the time the pepper plants are big enough to start casting shade, the beets are either ready to harvest or they're genuinely happy for the break, having a little bit of sun. So either way, it works out. Now, the melons here are a different kind of companion because they're not a cool season crop. As we talked about before, we've got the timing differences with peppers and some of the other crops like carrots and celery, but melons are going to be growing at the same time as peppers. So why does that companion combination work? The reason is growth habit. Peppers are going to grow up and melons are going to sprawl out. They're essentially using different real estate in the same bed. As long as both crops are getting enough water, and they will need that water coming into the summer, they can genuinely thrive together in that same space. The one thing I'll be watching out for, if you've grown melons, you can probably see this coming, is that when these melon vines start to take over, getting in here to tend to the peppers or to harvest the peppers is going to take a little bit more effort because I'll have to work around all of these watermelon vines. But getting 2 full summer crops out of this same bed is worth it, adding on the extra beet harvest out here. Now, if you look closely, you may have noticed another crop here with my peppers, and that is potatoes. Yeah. Normally, I would never plant peppers and potatoes together, but I had an extra pepper plant and I needed to find a place to put it, and I decided, let's just see. As you can see, it's definitely getting some shade by these larger potato plants, but my guess is that once these potatoes are harvested in about a month, I think this pepper is going to bounce back. So far, it's really not much smaller than the other ones, maybe just a tiny bit, but I really think it'll be okay. We'll see. I'm always interested in testing companion plantings that the internet says never to plant together, and to be honest, this pepper is pretty dang close to these potatoes. It's definitely not far away, but I like to test it with just one plant just to see, just in case it ends up not working out. That leads me to one plant I will never plant peppers with again, and that is cabbage. One year I planted 2 raised beds of peppers. In one I companion planted carrots, and in the other I companion planted cabbage. As the crops grew together, it was clear that the peppers with the cabbage suffered. But once I harvested the cabbage, they ended up bouncing back. My theory is that cabbage hogged the nutrients and the water, and it was a really good lesson for me to learn. I will never plant cabbage and peppers together again. But companion planting is one of those things that looks complicated from the outside, but once you actually start doing it, it just becomes how you garden. Now, while I enjoy using companion planting mostly to get more crops out of my space, as hopefully you've been able to see today, there is some science behind some companion combinations for pest control in particular. To get a list of combinations that I compiled with the most scientific studies behind them, and not just the hype of companion planting charts of plant this with that or not with this and not with that, that honestly exhausts me. You can get an easy 2-page download for free at the link in the description. And if you want to keep going with companions, I did a whole video on companion planting with tomatoes in particular. You can watch that one here.